Do you think anxiety is on the rise?
We are the loneliest we've ever been in the world. Physical sensation of being lonely is like having 15 cigarettes a day. That's the physical impact that it has on you.
Dr. Lalitaa is an award-winning psychologist, international speaker, and author of High Functioning Anxiety. Featured globally, she empowers people to master their mindset, embrace self-awareness, and unlock their true potential.
Isn't anxiety just normal, natural part of being human?
Anxiety is telling us that we don't feel safe somewhere or that we feel like something's out of control. But if it's stopping you from doing everyday activities, then it's like catastrophizing, ruminating.
So when I'm saying things, the direct feedback, I'm then giving other people anxiety.
You can just say, look,
nighttime is the worst. My imagination runs wild with me.
the body doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. So if you're then imagining all these different scenarios, the body then creates stress. Anxiety is
A young boy who committed suicide after it talked to ChatGPT.
as human beings, we need to have real connection to help us feel good. But if we're getting these cheap shots from
The
social
computer
media,
screen,
the computer
yeah.
screen, then day to day can feel really difficult.
One thing that makes your nervous system instantly settle. Lalitaa, thank you so much for joining me on the Elle Sera Podcast.
It's a pleasure to be here.
So we've been chatting animatedly off camera. So I thought we better start rolling and get on with it. So first of all, obviously you've written a book called High Functioning Anxiety. And I feel like there's so many people who go through this, and we'll get into the nitty gritty of it. But I don't believe for one second a woman as talented as you hasn't got some anxiety. Anyway, how do you deal with yours?
I love that question. First of all, I think we need to understand like what is anxiety, and it's not a bad thing. And sometimes anxiety is telling us that maybe we don't feel safe somewhere or that we feel like something's out of control. And I think when you have the tools to be able to understand and almost like speak to your anxiety, you can go deeper into it to make sense of like why is it showing up the way that it is? Because if we keep ignoring it, it's just going to be there in the physical form, and then we can intellectualize everything, keep running away, catastrophizing, ruminating. So for me, the way that I manage it is I will sit with it and I'll understand like what's underneath it. Why am I feeling this anxiety? Where is it coming from? And try and make sense of it to then give myself what I need from there moving forward.
Yeah, I think that's good. Having, the tools in the box that you need for when you're feeling a bit wobbly.
Yeah. And I'm not like, just because I've wrote a book about high functioning and I understand anxiety doesn't mean that I am a perfect person and I never get anxiety. In the world that we live in, there's triggers everywhere, and triggers will always, every day where that you could be in the coffee shop and someone doesn't talk to you in the right way, or you think that they're a bit off. And straight away, your insides are like, you get this inner dread, you get the anxiety, and it's like, okay, what's going on here? What's happening? But you're just becoming more attuned to what's going on in your body and trying to make sense of it, rather than you're feeling something and then you run off with a completely different story that this person doesn't like you, you've done something wrong, you're a bad person. It's like you have to really try and make sense of what's really going on. And if you don't listen to the anxiety, you can end up running off and ruminating into all these other spaces.
Yeah. What drew you to this work? How did you end up doing this?
I can see your brain ticking away like, oh, this is interesting. I have been someone who has had high functioning anxiety for a long time, and I never knew it existed. So for me, I never felt like I was good enough. I never felt like I was worthy. I didn't feel like I was deserving. And I used to live life in this world of like, almost like having the imposter syndrome, where you have like this little character on your shoulder and everything that you do is like, what do they think? What do they think? What do they think? And you're so focused on what everyone else thinks. You're not living for yourself. You're so focused on the thoughts of what might be going on in someone else's head based on like their expressions. So someone just like picks up their phone when you're trying to talk to them and you're like, they hate me. They don't like me. What have I done wrong? And then you change your behavior to try and give them what they want, to try and get their attention back. But sometimes it's got nothing to do with you. So for years, I've gone through this process where I was stuck in patterns that weren't really allowing me to thrive, weren't allowing me to grow. So when I started to realize and understand through my own therapy, understand the patterns I was going through, I was like, I can't believe how many people are going through a similar thing. And that's how I got into it. And I wrote a book about high functioning because again, we often are diagnosed once we get to that crisis point, but people don't talk to us when we're actually going through things. So burnout, exhaustion, loneliness, disconnect, all of these different emotions we go through day to day, but no one sits and talks to you about these things they're not okay. Like there's other things that you can do to try and gain that connection, gain that sense of belonging, and to feel enough within yourself. So I get really excited to help people get to that place.
Isn't anxiety just normal, natural part of, being human?
Yeah.
Isn't that how the human race has survived? By like seeing threats or, things like that? Shouldn't we just embrace it?
I think it's how you see a threat. If I, for example, am walking into a room and there's like, there's about 4 different people there and my body's like anxious and I'm then not able to show up as myself. I think it's how does anxiety show up in your life and what is it doing to you to stop you from being the version of you that you want to be. So yes, anxiety it's a human trait and we do need it to survive. But if it's stopping you from doing everyday activities, then it's like, okay, what's actually stopping me from doing it? But interestingly, with high functioning anxiety, a lot of clients that I work with, they're like, but I don't want to get rid of the anxiety. I'm like, why not? And they're like, because that's the thing that keeps me
Fuel.
going.
It's like fuel. It's
and that's
petrol,
isn't
it?
Yeah. So it's like people use it as like adrenaline to get them to do the things that they feel like they need to do. But even though you're high functioning, you can be high functioning intentional. So you become more intentional with your energy. You're still high functioning, but it's not fueled from a place of stress, worry, anxiety, loneliness, disconnect. You're actually fueling it from a place of intention.
I would like to get rid of anxiety. I would like to be high functioning, proactive, productive, intentional, creative. I'd like to be high functioning in all those areas. I would absolutely lose the anxiety. It's not petrol for me. It slows me down. Overthinks. I don't like it.
How do you feel like it slows you down?
Because then I sit there and think about things going wrong and imagine these scenarios and, thinking then I'm like, oh, all my shellac bitten off my nails and, I'm sat there thinking, oh, Christ, yeah. Like decisions that I made like 20 years ago, I think could come back to haunt me one day. And then at night time is the worst. My imagination runs wild with me. And I think, oh my God, what would happen if this happened? Or what would happen if this happened? And then I start Googling stuff. Like, right, okay, I need to do this. Do you know what I mean?
But isn't that really sad as well? That when you actually slow down or when it comes to evening and your brain, you're not go anymore. Instead, you are trying to fall asleep, but your brain then starts thinking, oh, what about this and what about this? And you're thinking back
the
to
worst things that could have ever happened. And I think, especially at nighttime, because obviously that's the time you feel the most vulnerable. So it affects you the most. And again, I suppose that's how the human race has survived, because at nighttime, you're more on high alert with everything, aren't you? Every noise, every day. Yeah, and I think, oh God.
But it's also the time where you properly are not go because you're trying to fall asleep.
Yeah.
But it's the time where your brain actually has the time to be like, hang on 1 minute, we get to think here now as well, because we're not busy doing and being productive. We have this time to think, but then you can then end up not falling asleep because you're thinking about all of these things. And there's the body doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. So if you're then imagining all these different scenarios, the body then creates stress, anxiety. Like your body's actually
I literally thinking about it now, and I'm starting to feel sick. Like right now, as we're talking about it, which is, it's like I don't think about positive things or what's the best that could happen in this scenario. Like, oh, wouldn't that be lovely? And I don't imagine anything good. Everything I imagine is something negative.
Yeah, and what does that bring up? Shame. It brings up a lot of shame of I'm a bad person. So your brain keeps running into all these different scenarios. But what are you imagining in these scenarios? You're imagining that I've done something bad, I've upset someone, I've hurt someone's feelings, I've done something. And then it's just shame that then just overwhelms you. And it becomes really exhausting to have to live with that, because the shame is telling you, you are bad, you are bad, you are bad.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're not bad. You're not bad.
I hope not.
Even that. What do you mean you hope not? Do you believe that you're not a bad person?
Do I believe? I believe I'm a good person. I try and do right by everybody. I think, yeah, definitely. Have I done bad things? Definitely.
Yeah.
Haven't we all?
But do you worry about like upsetting people and causing conflict?
No.
Yeah.
I don't.
That's a good thing, because then you're still able to be yourself. But there's something still around like shame of.
I would feel worse if I hadn't got it off my chest and not been given direct feedback in that moment. I would feel worse. Think, I should have said that. I regret not saying that to them at that time. Because what good comes of that underlying feeling of resentment if you don't give people like direct feedback when they need it.
Yeah, but sometimes we have to cut ourselves some slack as well, because in that moment you may still be processing and regulating all the different emotions. So, like say for example, you're having a conversation with someone and then afterwards you have that time to process things and you're like, I should have said this and I should have said this and I should have said this.
What happens though when I'm saying things, the direct feedback, I'm then giving other people anxiety. I don't want to do that either.
Yeah. But then that's also being responsible for someone else's emotions.
Yeah.
And
I try and do a bit of a shit sandwich situation. This is really good, but I don't like that. And then, but you're brilliant.
I think you don't want to drag someone down,
No.
and everyone's sensitive. But I think it's how do you give feedback to someone? How do you share something with someone? And you can just say, look, I do want to share something, and it's not me criticizing you. It's not me putting you down. So I think sometimes it's like when you lay the table, all your cards on the table, and then give the feedback, you're just being open and honest, and it builds up that trust initially, so that they don't think, whoa, like, why is this person saying this to me?
Yeah, and I think I try and do it in fair comment. As well. Yeah. Do you think anxiety is on the rise? 2025, we're in 2025. Do you think it's on the rise, or are we just better at naming it and calling it what it is?
I feel like because we are the loneliest we've ever been in the world, people are now like they're on social media, they're scrolling away, they're doom scrolling, and they're looking at everyone else and they're thinking everyone else has it together, everyone else has friends, everyone else is having this amazing life, and then they feel lonely. So that physical sensation of being lonely is like having 15 cigarettes a day. That's the physical impact that it has on you. So if people are feeling this loneliness and isolation, they will then be looking at everyone else thinking everyone else has like friends and this. But then how is that then impacting on them? So they will just like maybe resist going out with friends, doing things because they're like, people don't like me. So when we think of, is anxiety sort of growing, is it growing because of how we're using and how we are showing up in life day to day? I think there's a way of doing that. And also it depends on like what country you're in, because certain countries we wear like being high functioning as a badge of honor. So I've done 60 hours this week and I've done this and I've done this and I've done this. And we wear it as a badge of honor that I need to be doing this. But also that a lot of that creates anxiety. Like how many plates are you trying to spin day to day? How many things are you trying to do? And I get people want a fulfilled life. They want to grow their business. They want to do so many different things. But it's like looking at how does it actually impact on you physically, and making sure you've just got time to look after yourself in spirit, mentally, physically, spiritually. All of these different aspects are really important.
I would completely agree with that. It's so important to take time for yourself, to take a breath. I know I don't do it, but I absolutely know the full benefit of doing that. And I completely agree with you. I think social media can be the devil sometimes.
Yeah.
And I often think about my own social media page and the stuff that I put up there. And I think people must look at me and think I've got it all together. And maybe I create anxiety in some people because they look at my life and think, oh, she's got that and she's got that and she's got that. And actually the reality is more often than not, I'm not very happy. And I've actually started using LinkedIn as a bit of a diary these days. Sharing all the low points, sharing the low points, not the highlights. I hate LinkedIn because everyone is just like fucking blowing smoke up everyone's arse over there. So I'm like, no, I'm going to do the complete opposite. I'm going to say how shit my day has been, what's happened, what catastrophes happened, how much I've just wasted on a load of packaging and now I can't fucking use. Like, these are the realities of my day-to-day life.
Yeah.
And I know, and you know what? The engagement is so much better, whether that's because it's authentic or whether it's negatively biased, which I believe the algorithm loves. Again, it's like rewarding me for being more negative or anxious ridden. I don't know, but whatever. And I feel like the internet algorithms almost push that too.
Yeah.
Then it's just about the comparison is the thief of joy. And we've seen the rise of anxiety since social media happened.
But I think we also have to be mindful of, like, you can't take that responsibility of like, I have to keep posting this stuff because I want other people to realize the reality. I think we also have to take responsibility for ourselves to be like, hang on, if I'm sitting on social media, how is it making me feel? And what boundaries do I have with it? Because if it's like 8, 9 o'clock in the evening and you want to chill out and then you're doom scrolling, what is that about? Are we using social media to help us soothe and help us or disconnect from like the day or ourselves? Like, what are we using it for? So if we can also do the work and understand more of like, why am I using social media in the way that I am? And what's my intention for doing it? And how do I feel when I come off it? So you're becoming more aware of like, the type of
user
feedback you're getting.
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know. What is it? Escapism. You just find yourself like an hour's gone by and you've not done anything. I'm just doom scrolling and consuming content chronically online.
But how does that also impact on your mind? Like, and what are you taking away?
Then
from
I'm
all of
bored in
that?
everyday life because I'm not getting constant hits of dopamine all the time.
Yeah, because if you are swiping, you are getting like those dopamine hits, and then day to day it can feel really difficult because you can go out with your friends and think, oh, you know what? I don't feel good after being out with my friends, but it might be because the conversation wasn't as stimulating for you and you didn't get those constant hits that you would get in other ways. Like that's why a lot of people, they're using ChatGPT now. And I know we were having a conversation earlier about it, but you get that instant response there and then. So you're not waiting for it.
And it bigs you up so much. It's like the best friend you could ever have because it's like, God, you're right, Elissa. Like every time you're so right, Elissa. Oh, well done for spotting that, Elissa. Oh, you just...
And you're training it to respond in the way that you want. Yeah. So you have to be really careful with that side of things as well. And also not getting so lost in ChatGPT that you're losing real connections. Because as human beings, we need the physical connection with people. We need that oxytocin. We need to have physical beings and that real connection to help us feel good. But if we're getting these cheap shots from social media and the computer screen, what is that doing for us internally? And are we then losing social connections? And does that then feel more of like the loneliness, the disconnect, the exhaustion, the burnout, like all of these different emotions we're feeling?
Of course it does. And I worry about, I've got enough intelligence to be able to pick it up and leave it. Like the other day when I was saying to you, I was reading a story in the paper about a young boy who'd committed suicide after it had talked to ChatGPT. And I'm reading the messages that ChatGPT has sent to him. And I'm like, God, that's some of the messages it sends to me sometimes. Oh, right. It's saying that to everyone, is it? Oh, brilliant. So then I've thought, well, I'm not doing the therapy on ChatGPT again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like I just needed someone to pour something out to that was objective, that wasn't, a friend or, well, I haven't really got any that I can talk to any these days, really. Many people that understand the struggles. So I'm just a bit like, ChatGPT is objective. It'll know the answers. So I sat there for hours going backwards and forwards with it. And I've only ever done it once and I will never do it again.
Yeah, but I think
there's a lot of people who will get addicted to it.
Yeah. And when we think of like addiction, what is it? What is it giving to you? It's giving you instant response back to your emotions. So if we're feeling dysregulated, we ask chat, hey, someone's just sent me a message. What does this mean? And then chat has responded. Are we actually learning to regulate our emotions, or are we using something else to help us soothe us because it's approved of whatever this person has then said? So I think there's a fine line with it. Like, yes, it can help to a certain extent, but then there's also another point where it's like, are we becoming so dependent on something else that we're not connecting with our own intuition? It's like I was saying to a friend the other day, it's like we're like wearing watches, we're wearing like these Aura rings to tell us about how we've slept, how we're training, how we're doing all of these things. But whereas when we think back to our ancestors, they would be able to look at the sky and know like what's happening. They'd be able to like tune into themselves and just understand like what's going on. Whereas I think we're so dependent, or we're becoming more dependent on using technology to help us to understand ourselves. Whereas are we disconnecting more from our intuition and what we know of ourselves to rely on like technology to be like, oh, look, I didn't sleep well last night. And look, this is what it's saying about my sleep. But did you actually sleep well? Like I remember a client of mine said, I feel like I'm really, like I had a really good sleep and I feel really well, but my watch is saying this. And when we actually broke it down, it's like, but why are you so focused on like what your watch is saying? You slept well, so why can't you believe and tune into that?
That's why I got rid of my Whoop, because it became paralysis by analysis.
And it can become very addictive because you're constantly like, oh, okay, what was this and what was... It's like when because I also like offer yoga as a yoga teacher. When people come in, I'm like, right, take your watches off. This isn't an exercise.
This is not something to be logged.
No, so we're taking it off. And sometimes you see people and they look at you like what? Like, but I want my watch. I want to see like what I do and how. And I'm like, no, this is about coming back to your inner self and understanding what's going on with your breath, what's going on within your internal world. It's not about trying to like activate it. And
sometimes I got to the point where I'd be like, oh shit, I've not worn my watch. There's no point me going for a walk then. Because I couldn't log, like I wouldn't bother doing it. What's the point? Oh, well, there's no point me walking, I'll just drive.
But isn't that so interesting?
Yeah. Well, pathetic as well.
It's like we have to log it and we have to show that we've done like 10,000 steps, or
it's like gamifying life.
Yeah.
which I think is, I'd be quite happy, prepared if I didn't run a business to give it up.
Yeah. And I know it motivates people. And I know
Yeah.
for some people, like they share on their Apple Watch, like with their families and friends, what they've done. So I get it. Like it does help them and it motivates them. But then there's a certain extent to, like you said, if they forgot their watch and they're like, oh, I can't be bothered to do this. But it's like, but hang on, what's
You're still
going
going to
on
get
there?
the benefits to your actual body, you know, you've been in locomotion and doing that walk. But that's like,
That's a reality we're living in.
I know. So you work a lot with women.
Yeah.
How does anxiety look differently in women than men?
Yeah. So I feel like, again, a lot of people will say that they're high functioning, but they don't want to get rid of the high functioning because they feel like the anxiety is the thing that's fueling them. So a lot of women that will come in, they're spinning like 20 different plates and they're so good at managing all these different plates and trying to get onto this thing, but they don't know how to look after themselves. And sometimes it's like if we go deeper into like their childhood and understand like their childhood patterns, it's about understanding, hang on, how did they learn to show up? So what role did they take on in their family system? So they become the peacemaker, they're the caregiver, they're the one who's trying to make sure that everyone else is okay. But by doing that and understanding their archetype of what they developed as a child, that then continues. So if they naturally become the caregiver or they're the golden child or the good girl, what tends to happen is they follow all the rules, they keep moving forward, looking after everyone else and are so responsible for everyone else's emotions. But then by doing that, they're disconnected from themselves. So although they're successful in their own right, when it comes to themselves or if someone asking them how are they don't know how to respond because they're hyper independent. They don't know how to like trust other people with their emotions. So instead they're just like, I just get on with it. I'll get on with it. And often then people hit like burnout, they hit exhaustion and they realize at that point that pattern doesn't continue because they're not able to move forward. And that's when they'll finally face their shadows, finally are ready to look at their patterns to be like, why do I keep doing this and what's actually going on? And it's so interesting because when people start to realize their patterns, they're like, everything around me is literally has become me being there for everyone else. And what about me? So it's like they're carrying all these bags for everyone else, but then they realize there's no one there for them. No one can really, truly see them because they haven't allowed that. So they've created a world around them where they're busy giving to everyone else, but when they want something back for themselves, they can't. And that's the hardest thing for them because they feel like they're not worthy.
I think that's every woman.
Yeah, it's really sad.
I can't think of one woman who's not feeling like that. Like they have to be. It's that whole put your mask on first scenario, which nobody does.
Isn't that interesting? Put your mask on first. So doesn't that also go back to the archetype of like, be the good girl, don't rock the boat, don't be too much, don't take up space. So all of these things we're taught from a very young age and that then continues. But we are here to take up space. We are here to like, if we want to say something and it does cause conflict, why are we so focused on I can't upset someone else, I can't do this, I can't do this? And often it's because it dysregulates us and it dysregulates our nervous system because we have learned that we need to make sure that everyone around us is okay before we then feel okay. So we become like the empath, the people pleaser, the caregiver, the one who's there for everyone else. But then that's for them really difficult because you don't allow anyone else there for you, even though that's what you're really wanting.
I just feel like sometimes no one's there for me. You know what I mean?
But isn't that really sad to like feel into?
So then I just think, well, there's no point in telling anyone because no one really gives a shit. So what's the point?
But is it that they don't give a shit?
I would say they don't. Yeah, I would say they don't.
But what type of people are there around you? Like, give me an example of something where you feel like they haven't given a shit.
Well, just like, you know, I can be going through a stressful scenario and people around me just compound it. You know what I mean?
But how do they compound it?
Or just pile on me even more pressure. Like, I can be going through the most stressful points ever. And I'm just like, you know what I mean? Someone will just blow up with me and I'm just like, this is not what I need right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm going through. I don't need this on top of the other shit I'm going through right now.
Do you ever express that to them as well? Like, share? Yeah.
Well, they don't get it because they're always about themselves. So it's really fucking selfish. So I'm just like, right, well, you can't be taught. Just weren't taught then.
Yeah, and I think this is where it's really interesting because even the people that come into therapy, the reason why they really struggle is they don't have people around them that have a level of self-awareness and understanding. So they're there going through something and sharing something. So if you said, look, I'm going through something right now, I might say, look, what's going on? What do you need from me? And you've got that space to do that rather than saying, look, I haven't heard from you for 2 weeks and I'm really upset with you. I can't believe that you haven't been there for me and I've been been going through all of this. And you're like, what? Like, I've been going through all this stuff and I've told you. And how has it then turned around on me that I'm the bad person?
Yeah.
So then you're like, you know what, forget this. What do? You disconnect, you shut down, and your response is, I'm just going to shut down now because I can't keep giving myself because it adds on more. But with the right people, and with the right people that do understand and have that level of self-awareness, and often it is other people who are entrepreneurs or professionals or have that level of self-awareness and consideration. I think consideration is a very undervalued love language of how do I consider this person and what they're going through, rather than it's just about me, me, me.
Very much so. I try sometimes and put the shoe on the other foot. You know what I mean? I do.
But you do that, but then the people around you, do they do that?
Don't think so. Like, I'm in a situation at the moment where I've been going through a tough situation. It's just like ended, which is great. But then I had a friend who was just like terrible. And I was just like, oh,
what do you mean terrible?
God. Just, it was all about her. Do you know what I mean? She's just going mad and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, so then I've just completely disconnected from her and just said, I can't even have drama in my life like this while I'm going through this right now. I've not even listened to any messages or voice notes or nothing. And I know she sent them because I can see them, but I've just like completely, you know what, I've got to actually deal with what I'm dealing with, and all that drama that you're now going to bring to me, I don't want to I'm not dealing with.
Yeah.
So, but I actually need to pick up that conversation and say, all right, I've dealt with what I was going through. Now I'll deal with you.
Yeah.
So I have to like mentalize and go back to it.
Yeah.
But
you know what? I hear this a lot from people. Like, they will go through something, they've explained or they've suggested, like they've told someone, communicated with them, and they feel like they've communicated. They've said, look, I've got a lot going on right now. This is what's been happening. And I'm just like, I need to deal with that. But then other people then will bring on their stuff. But this is all about projection. Like, people will project onto you their stuff, because if you're always there for them, you're always looking out for them, you're always like, no matter what happens, you will show up. And then one day you're not. They will then see that as like, what's wrong with me? So they're going through their own things. And this is where the real conversations happen. Like, the real depth of conversations is like, look, I've got all this going on. What's happening for you? Like, I know that there's stuff coming up, but right now I haven't got the space to deal with it. When I'm ready, I'll come and we can talk about it. But then this person might not feel like they're able to regulate until they're able to, like, you come back in and protect them and save them and be what you normally are in their life. And that can then become really difficult for them, because they're like, you're not doing what you normally do. You've changed. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
And then that brings up all these, like, the guilt, the shame for you. So if we really think about it, the level of communication is very powerful in how you understand each other. But your defense is shut down. Once I feel exhausted, once I feel overwhelmed, I'm shutting down. But then that can then impact on the other person, because then they feel like when you've shut down, they can feel rejection, abandonment. And that's from their own childhood and things that have happened in their life. So then if they feel rejected and abandoned, they might then shut down or disconnect or go silent. So like, everyone's just...
Well, that is genuinely going to be the problem. And I'm a bit like scared about picking it back up and saying, right, okay, let's talk about this, because it's just going to be a whole nother can of worms and whatever. But very much so. And I just feel like, it's a difficult one. And
it feels exhausting.
My partner says, you do this a lot. Like, you do this a lot because you're attracted to extreme characters. So he said, you're not stimulated at all by just regular people who are quite normal. So a lot of your friends are very, like, you know, they come with their own set of problems, but they're more interesting characters. And he said, and then you get mad when they boot off or they do something that is like way beyond what you're expecting. But those are the kinds of people you've got around you. You've got extreme characters around you. When they do something extreme to you, you're shocked. And he said, you bring it on yourself sometimes with the people that you picked up around you, because they are a bit more exciting to be around.
And it's also understanding, like, what does the excitement do for you, isn't it?
So,
it's like, there's chaos and you enjoy it.
Because I'm a bit like, that's why I haven't got many mum friends who just have normal lives. You know what I mean? I've got extreme women around me.
But it sounds like you're excited because, like, it's interesting.
I need that stimulation.
And it's not just like that.
Yeah.
But what's the stimulation? It's the dopamine as well.
Yeah, of course.
And then once your plate is really full, you're like, I can't deal with that right now. I can't deal with that. I need to deal with this. And then you're dealing with this. And they're then thinking this. And then it brings up all that stuff. But it's also really interesting, isn't it? Because it's like, it's chaos in some ways.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much always going on and so much that's always happening. And is that what you're excited by? And that's what you enjoy, but it's not what you enjoy?
Yeah. At times, I like to dip into it. You know what I mean? Let's go for a lunch and chat, whatever you've been up to, and I'll get that stimulation from that. But let's keep it there. You know what I mean? A bit. You can dip into it, but I wouldn't want to do it 24/7. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's also like, it's exhausting because you've got your own life. Then when you go there, it's like, oh my God, there's this is going on and this. But also it's like, what role do you take on there? Do you take on like the therapist role, or do you take on the caregiver role?
Definitely.
So you like that, but being the therapist and the caregiver, there's only so much capacity that you have. So all of a sudden you get busy in your life, you're not able to be there for them. And if you're not able to be there for them, they will then get upset with you because are you feeling that caregiver, the mother in some ways? So do you become like the mother and they might have something going on with the mother wound within their lives? You become that mother and the caregiver there. They then feel like, oh, you're there. And then as soon as you've gone, they feel abandoned. They feel rejected. They will then think, oh, where are you? What about me? I need you. And you're like, I've got all these other things going on. I need to do this. And then once you've settled here, you want to go back there. But then they're just like, no, I'm shut down. And then you have to manage them, and it feels like that's exhausting. So like even when you're thinking now about this friend, you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to go there, have a conversation, talk to her, hold her, create space for then it to go back to normal.
Yeah.
But that's a pattern, isn't it?
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's crazy. You spoke a bit there about inner child work, and a lot of people would roll their eyes at like inner child work. Do you know what I mean? But like, why does it matter? Why is it important to go back to that?
A lot of people that come into therapy or come into coaching, they will say like, this is where I'm at and I want to get to here. And I'm like, okay, to get to here, we also need to go back and understand like, why are we here in the first place? So to understand why are we here, why are the patterns that we present with showing up in the way that they are, we have to go back to understand the beliefs that we have of ourselves, the beliefs that we have of others, and the belief that we have of the world. And often when we go back to make sense of the inner child, like why is it that you have this archetype of the caregiver, for example, and you're so focused on being there for everyone else and you want to make sure that everyone else is okay. Where does that come from? Is that because you grew up with parents that were perhaps emotionally unavailable? And this is not going back and blaming your parents at any point. This is about you going back and making sense of, why do I show up the way that I do? So if your parents are emotionally unavailable, you learn it's not about my needs. My needs are not important. And I need to make sure that the people around me are regulated for me to feel safe. So that's what we want as children. We want our basic needs to be met, safety, security. If they're not met, we'll find ways of them being met. So if parents are emotionally unavailable, you feel like, okay, I have to regulate them and I need to make sure that they're okay. And if people will explain, like I grew up and I felt like I was walking on eggshells because I didn't know how dad was going to come home, or if he was stressed out, he would come home in a bad mood, and then that would then impact, or he'd shout at me, or he'd do this, or he'd do that, or mom would say this. So going back to the inner child is about understanding where did you learn and how did your nervous system learn to show up in the way that it does, because these patterns then continue in everyday life. So in order to then relearn how we want to be, we have to go back to understand to then move forward. So the inner child is really important. And people might roll their eyes, but often it's because they think, oh, why do I have to go back to the past? Like nothing happened in my past. Everything was fine. My parents were fine. And I'm like, okay, we can start with that. But then actually when you go deeper into it and people build up trust with you, they realize and they start opening up with like, well, actually, no, sometimes it was like this and it was like that. But I think the trust element is really important, because sometimes you can feel like, and that's exactly it. As a child, you weren't able to trust your parents to manage your emotions. So why are you going to sit here with a complete stranger and start opening up with things? Because you're going to feel like no one's going to understand me, or I'm complex, or I'm too much. And I shouldn't take up space. So you can really feel uncomfortable doing that.
I often think about if my daughter ever grew up and was like, oh, my mum was like this and that's the reason I am like that, I'll be thinking, you what? As I am the polar opposite to how I was brought up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think, oh my God.
But I think it's about,
but like maybe
blaming.
I'm leading her down a path in a different direction. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I can't tell her I love her enough. I'm all over her. Do you know what I mean? When we're there, we're like best friends, and she knows she's absolutely loved. She's absolutely spoiled rotten, which probably brings up their own, why are you spoiling her because you're doing this? How the hell are you supposed to do it? You don't know, do you?
But you don't know. And I think that's the thing. You show up the way that you are. Like even if we go back to our parents and we understand they were on their journey and they still are on their journey in their own way, and they were trying to make sense of it. And if you understand like what your parents went through, it gives you a way of like you making sense. It was never me. I was never the problem. It wasn't that I wasn't lovable or I wasn't deserving. It was more that they were going through their own things, and that's why it was the way that it was. So you never go back and blame. And there's no such thing as being a perfect parent. It's like you will do your best and show up the way that you do. And if children have questions, you'll always be there to try and answer them. But there's nothing that you can do to be like, right, this is the rule book and this is how you're going to show up and this is how to be the perfect parent, because there is no such thing. And often kids will show you the shadow parts of you that you have not, or you've been trying to avoid, or you haven't like really stepped into. There's no escaping.
She likes to test my patience, and I'm a bit like, I'm not in for gentle parenting. I'm not. I am to a point, and then I'm like, right, you've pushed me to the limit now. Do you know what I mean? And I'm just like, no, God, it's difficult. She's calming down a bit now. She's coming out. She's nearly 3, and the tantrums have reduced a little bit. There's a bit more. I can reason with her a bit more now. You know what I mean? Which is great, but.
And if you think about it, as a parent, you're trying to manage someone who has emotions, someone who is trying to make sense of these big emotions that come up. So if you've said to them, no, you're not having this, and they then get really worked up, it's not about the thing. It's about them trying to manage this emotion of them not getting what they want. And every child is different. Like some children, they will have this big imagination. So if you say to them, look, we're going to go bowling later, and then all of a sudden the plans change, and then that's it, they're completely broken down. You're just like, we'll go tomorrow. And for you, it's it's a small thing because of everything else that you're managing. For them, it's such a big thing, and they've imagined going.
Yeah,
they're looking forward to it all day, and you've taken away like their dopamine for the day, if anything. And because of that, they're really struggling to regulate. So it's like, how rather than you punishing them or shouting at them because they've got this big emotion, it's helping them to regulate what's going on for them, to give them what they need, because these are tools that they need moving forward as well in life.
Yeah, it is difficult. And I'm a bit like, I just don't know where to turn sometimes.
Because it can be exhausting, because in your head, you're like, I've got all these other plates, and to make my life like harder, you're now playing up and you're doing this and you're doing that.
And I love you so much. And please just, last night she was just going crazy. I'd washed her hair, for God's sake. I'd washed her hair. I don't want to wash my hair. It's already been washed. I need to get the soap out, right? It's already shampooed. It's all right. Okay, well, we won't wash it again then. Okay, we'll just wash that stuff off. She's like, no, I will not. I am not. Mommy, I told you I didn't want to wash my hair. And this went on for 20 minutes straight, screaming in the bath. Oh, then when I walked out, so I was like, right, I'm going out here, see you later. So I just leave her in the shower. And then she's just carrying on and on and on. And then she's screaming, Mummy, I want a cuddle. Mummy, I want a cuddle. I go back in. No, you've washed my hair. Like, it's mental. It's like I can't give her whatever she wants. It's not right. Yeah. So I'm like, then 20 minutes of this, I go, right, that's it. Drag her out the shower. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm just like, I've lost it now. You've got me to a point where you've made me lose it.
Yeah.
And now I don't know. And then I don't know how to deal with it. So then she's demanding. So I'm a bit like, no, you're acting like this. You're not getting what you want now. So now I'm like, you want to watch Care Bears? Guess what? We're not watching Care Bears now.
Yeah.
Is that the way to deal with it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I think
I've got to put some boundary in place, because I can't accept this behaviour.
Yeah. But you've just said something really beautiful there, is I have to put a boundary in. And I think sometimes as little kids, they don't know like the world that we live in. So maybe they need that boundary to be like, right, okay, this is where the door is. This is what we're doing. This is what's happening. This is what this is. So they're understanding. And even if like I said, every parent is very like different, and there are going to be times where they will test your patience and things will come up. But that you can help them to understand, like, look, mummy's just gone through this. This is what's happened. Mummy had this big feeling and mummy didn't know how to react, and this is what mummy did. What about when you do this and you have that big emotion? Mummy went out and mummy was breathing. And when she came back, I was able to then be like present. So you're helping her to understand that you also go through this, and helping her to externalize, like, mummy does this, what are you now going to do? So she just doesn't think that she's the only one doing it, and it helps her to make sense of like, yeah, actually mummy was sad, or mummy was angry, mummy was like this, but mummy did this, so the mummy was able to like come back.
Yeah, we do breathing exercises, but sometimes she's in that much of a tear, she's like, I'm not breathing with you. Because I go, come on, let's breathe together and calm down like this. We do our breathing, but she's in a right tears. She won't even do that with me.
But in that moment, is that what she needs? So in that moment, and then you're like, what do I do? What do I
make sure she's not going to whack her head on the wall and let her go for it. Just go on then, sit there, cry, scream the house down. I'm walking out.
Yeah. It's like that big emotion
she's
that she's
got to leave her,
isn't it?
And then, you know what I mean? I feel like, oh, she's going to feel like I'm abandoning her, whatever. I'd rather that. She needs to know that behaviour is unacceptable. And I'm walking out the room. and I'll come back in a bit when she's calmed down.
So, when she comes back and you speak to her once she's calmed down, do you then talk to her about like what's
I say, you make mummy so upset when you get like that. All I wanted to do was wash your hair. That's how your hair's beautiful, and then we can make it nice for nursery tomorrow. And that's all I was doing, and blah, blah, all that. Do all that. And I say, because I love you, Grace, and blah, And then we have a cuddle, and I'm like, we're best friends. She goes, yeah, best friends, mum. And I'm like, yeah, it didn't need to get to that level of, absolute horrendous. I mean, M&S car park about 2 weeks ago, I literally thought there's people going to call social services. I thought, Jesus Christ. I had to just shut the car door on her and sit there at the end.
What had happened?
We'd started in M&S.
Yeah.
There's a Frozen dress, jumper with Frozen on it with a skirt on it. Yeah, Mum, I want that. Okay, well, it's only a size 7 to 8 and you're 2. Mummy, I want that. Right, I'm sorry, Grace, I haven't got your size.
Yeah.
I haven't got your size. Tell you what, let's go on Mummy's phone and see if we can get it. So we get it. No. She's taking it to the till. So I say to the lady, can you just explain to us you haven't got your size? She says, I'll have a check in the back. We do all this rigmarole, right? She's thrown herself on the floor. She's kicking. She's just screaming in the house. Everyone in M&S is looking at me, right?
Yeah. And that must be really hard because
of
then
course,
obviously people make judgments.
It's just horrendous. Yeah, so I just leave her and everyone's really sympathetic. They've all been there, most people in M&S, so they can see what's going on. And the woman's like, I feel awful. I'm so sorry. I was like, it's all right, Grace, don't worry. I'll tell you what, we'll get in the car now. We'll look. We'll go to Nando's, which is next door. We'll go to Nando's and we'll go and get it on Mummy's phone. Let's do that. No, she's not even listening. She's just going mental, right? And now I've had to scoop her up and pick her up, and she is just fighting me, smacking me. You know what I mean? I'm going down the escalators and she's just fighting with me, and I'm just like, can't even breathe. I'm trying to find the car. I'm trying to. Then she gets out of my arms. She's running. It's the road's there, so I'm like, oh my God, right? Trying to get her back. She's absolutely going ape shit. She's all red, sweaty, hot, bothered, everything. Pants are coming off, the lot. So I get her in the car. She's going, no, I want my dress. I'm trying to get her into the car seat. Arms like this, flailing around. She's kicking me. She's hitting me. She's doing everything she possibly can. And she's tough. I cannot get her in the car seat to the point where I'm like absolutely wedging her in just to try and get her to calm down. And at this point, I can feel it now. My temperature's rising. My whole body is like, oh my God. And I'm going, Grace, stop it. I will get you a dress. Just calm down for 10 seconds. And we can look on my phone, see if they've got your size.
Yeah.
There's no talking to her.
Yeah.
Right? So I just thought, I can't even get her in a car seat. I slammed the door shut and I can just hear her screaming.
Yeah.
And I've just had to walk away, lock the car. So then she's setting the alarm off. She's in the car. And I'm just like, this is my day off with her that I'd voluntarily take off to spend time with her.
Yeah.
And this is what happens every single time. And I'm losing my mind. And I don't want to spend time with her because this is what she does every time I do spend time with her.
Yeah.
And then, people go, well, at least you've got a daughter.
And you're just like, no,
like,
that's not
I get
the thing.
that. I get
Yeah,
that. And I'm
yeah.
absolutely in a privileged position. I get that.
Yeah.
But this is horrendous to deal with. Talk about what a beautiful day out. We're just going to M&S to buy her some new school socks, and that's literally it. And this has turned into a nightmare where we're now I've had the worst day ever. And this is every Tuesday I spend with her. It's so difficult.
I think the difficult thing is like you feeling, because from your perspective, there's going to be so many layers going on for you, like the shame of what people will be thinking. She's not listening to me. And also the expectation that, it's going to be really nice. We get to spend Tuesday together.
Literally
we get to do
plan
this.
the whole day to have a beautiful day together.
Yeah.
And it's just been completely ruined.
And when things don't go like to plan, it's like has it been completely ruined? Or is it like there's like them 10, 15 minutes there? Because once she calms down and you speak to her, is it like, does she, like, what comes up for her then?
Well, obviously, so I just sat at the edge of the car where she couldn't see me and she thought I'd disappeared then. Because I needed that at least 5 minutes. So I'm just sat there. I can hear her wailing in the car. So I'm sat there and I just thought, like, she needs to just calm down. Anyway, she's like absolutely red, coughing, spluttering, all the rest of it. Give her a hug, and I'm like, Grace, just calm, do my breathing with me at least. I can't even remember how she came out of it eventually. But I was like, do you want to go to Nando's? She was like, yeah. So I was like, right, okay. And then, you know what I mean? She still brings it up with me. She's like, Mum, is Elsa dress coming? I was like, oh yeah, it's on its way. Do you know what I mean? I still haven't ordered it. It's fucking horrible dress anyway. I don't even want her to have it.
But I think it's like, when you think of like the Elsa dress, for her, it's such a big thing. Like it's such a big thing because
she's got like
excited.
5 frozen dresses. I wouldn't mind.
But that's what you think. So from her perspective, it's like, but until she's excited, she's imagined wearing it, she's imagined feeling into it. Like she's now part of Elsa. Like these are big, big things for her. So it's such a big thing. And then for her,
but I'm a bit like, do I give in every single time? It's good. She's got a mother who's got the means to get her what she wants whenever she wants. And there's a lot of kids who haven't got that. How do they regulate their emotions then? Because I feel like I'm also spoiling it and rewarding bad behaviour. Look at the way she behaved. Yeah. She'd expect to get that dress after that behaviour. Absolutely not.
Yeah. Do you also explain that to her and say, look, right,
Well, I try to. Yeah. But she doesn't. Yeah, she's 2.
Yeah, because when you think of because even in therapy, we have like 2, 3-year-olds come in, 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, and we always find a way to try and communicate with them. So sometimes it's like they need like play therapy to help them make sense of it. So it's like you have like different puppets and different things, and it's like, right, this puppet's gone here, well, what do you think this puppet's feeling? What do you think this puppet's doing? And then it gives them the awareness to be like, oh, okay. And then you use the puppet. Remember when the puppet went to the shop and then the puppet wasn't able to get what he wanted? What did the puppet do? And what did the mummy puppet do? So then she's getting an awareness of, oh, okay. So it helps her to identify with it. But she's 2 years old. How do you put the boundaries in?
Well, that's the thing. And the other thing is, like, there's been times when she picks up stuff all the time. Do you know what I mean? We'd just been to buy paints that day as well. So I'd bought her these paints and then she's putting loads of other crap in the trolley. And I'm like, just for an easy life, whatever. Put those stickers in then. Yeah. I just want an easy life. I just want to get out of the shop and get it sorted. Yeah. So she gets what she wants. And then in the minute she didn't get what she wants, because she thinks, well, why am I not getting what I want? Because mummy always gets me what I want. What's that message sending her as well? But she's also not, and she'll be in therapy one day going, oh, well, my mum, spoiled me. You know what I mean? Yeah. Her expectations in life or demands or whatever. But also I think I can't do right for doing wrong.
Yeah, and that's hard as well because it's like in your mind, you're just like, okay, right, I've got 1 to do, then I'm going to move to 2, then I'm going to move to 3, then I'm going to move to 4. So you're already thinking of all the things that you want to do. So in your head, it's like, for an easy life, I'm just going to quickly just, we'll do it. But then in her head, mommy always says yes. So when mommy says no, it's like, she doesn't understand. She doesn't get it.
I know.
So for an easy life and for your like, okay, I just want to get out of this shop now. We're saying yes, but we're saying that for an easy life for us. But do we then need to explain and say, look, you've got this in the trolley, you've got this in the trolley. You pick. We're going to have 3 things. Which 3 things do you want? So it gives her again the boundary to help her understand. Okay, I can't have everything, but I'm allowed 3 things. So she's not she's not just saying yes to everything, but she's saying 3 things, so she has a choice. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, I definitely do that. Because she picked up this nail set and a baking set, and I was like, well, the nail set's 10 plus anyways. I was like, you're not having that, and then she melted down about that, and I was like, no, what about this? I said, you're not having it, so it's not for you. It's for big girls, like, you know what I mean? And fucking meltdown in her hobbycraft. Another lady was in there, her kid was having a meltdown, and we're both looking at each other like that, and I'm just thinking, she was just on one that day, whatever it was. And this is why I don't like taking her to places that overstimulate in a commercial sense, i.e. shops. You know, I would never take her to the entertainer or a toy shop because it's way too much stimulation for them, Hamleys and all that. And I know I sound like an absolute bitch, but I'm telling you, it's not good for them because it's just like giving them carte blanche. They think they can have whatever they want and shove loads of shit in the basket, and it's too overstimulating, those shops. And it's the same in Hobbycraft or wherever I take her. And I just end up spending a fortune on crap that she doesn't need that's just going to sit there at home, just plastic rubbish. So
but I think even as adults, like say if we go into a place where we're overstimulated, like say if you've gone to like a networking event or somewhere and then you're overstimulated and there's all these amazing things going on and then you just need a day like just staring at a wall because you're like, I'm exhausted from all of that. And so many like dopamine hits of like talking to, and it's like, oh, actually, did I need that or did I need that? And you've ended up doing things and saying things, but you don't actually need them. So even as adults, we're guilty of doing these things, but we also then know we need that day or we need that time just to like come down. Yeah. But it's understanding the overstimulation that happens. Like sometimes you might be in a restaurant and you're listening to that conversation over there. Yeah. You're seeing the waiter over there. You're seeing someone kick off over there. You're seeing this and so much is happening. Your brain's trying to process it. Then you're on social media trying to like just relax and calm down. Like all of these things is like, you just have to understand. This is why I hate
even play centres. I go there and it does my head in because they've got all cakes, sweets, chocolate, all at the front. Even Starbucks would go in and I have to say they're display cakes. We can't actually, the staff always laugh at me. I'm like, they're just for display, Grace. They've run out of them. And she's like, can I have that? Can I have that croissant? Can I have that cookie? And I'm like, no. Because otherwise, every single day you would have
Yeah.
an ice cream or a treat. It's not a treat because that's the everyday diet because you're eating it every single day.
And also, like, if you think of and if you look at the cakes in Starbucks, like the sugar that's in that,
horrendous.
they're going to have that quick hit and then they're having
and then it should be an absolute nightmare all afternoon.
Yeah.
And then everyone goes, oh, you're so tight. You're such a tight. You're so tight.
Who says that?
Everyone around me.
Okay.
Grandparents mainly.
Yeah. Because that then becomes pressure on you to feel like I have to perform and I now need to think about what everyone else thinks because they're going to be watching me to see how or what I'm doing for my daughter.
Don't worry, I'm a strong enough person so I'm just shut right up and I'm just like, no. And then I make sure when anyone's looking after, I'm like, can I just be honest? Because like, I never give her Ribena or anything like that. It's just water.
Yeah.
She doesn't even know that language for it. But guess what? Now it's apple juice every fucking day. And I'm like, where have you learned apple juice? Because I've worked really hard for nearly 3 years
just to give you water.
Not even, you don't even know it. She doesn't even know what McDonald's is.
Yeah.
How long may that rain?
Yeah. But I think that's really interesting as well, isn't it? Because you're trying to protect her and give her things. But then when she steps out into the outside world and as she's going to like get older and mix with other people and be looked after by other people, she's going to start to be introduced. And sometimes it can feel like a lack of control from as a parent because you're like, what? Like, where has she learned this from?
Yeah.
And what's this now? And what's this? And it can feel really scary for you.
Well, now she's like, I want chocolate. Every morning for breakfast, I want chocolate. I'm like, I've worked so hard to like keep her away from all this, and now what's happening? Do you know what I mean? And I'm just like,
these things are going
give
to
me
happen.
anxiety.
Yeah,
these things give me anxiety.
But if we look at it, what's going on for you is that you're feeling like I'm losing that control as well because I'm trying really hard and setting her this, and showing her this. But then I'm feeling like I'm losing control and losing the reins of it a little bit when she comes back into what's happening for you. It's like, like what's happening or what's going on here? But it's like, how do you manage that as well? How do you manage the fact that she is going to go out there? She is going to pick up on new things. And how do you then trust yourself enough to be like, I can manage what's going to come up and what's not? Because you're going from your own experiences of like meltdowns, bad experiences, the whole day is ruined and all of these things are coming up and you're then trying to put more control in place to be like, I don't want any of these to happen. So on Tuesdays, we're not going to go to any entertainer. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do this. But you could go to the park and she sees a dog and she's like, I want a dog.
Exactly.
Like you can't, you can keep taking the person
that's
out
why
of it.
I like taking them to play areas, but then they're all on the counter just full of sweets, chocolate, fruit pastel, Smarties, you know.
Maybe it's a business idea. Like just open up a business where kids are not stimulated.
There is one. There is one I
yeah.
love taking it to. It's an outside place. I'll give them a shout out. They're called Wild and Seek. It's a vegan.
I love that name.
Yeah.
Wild and Seek.
Yeah. So it's outdoor like play and they can like paint stuff outside and you know what I mean? Get messy, sandbox, all that, like water. They can make magic potions with leaves and
but isn't that what we're meant to be doing as kids?
1,000,000%. There's no overstimulation. Yeah. There's no crap available. That's the main thing. They have a cafe, but you have to order it on an app and then it's not in front of anybody.
Yeah.
It's like brought to you.
Yeah.
Perfect. Make them all like that.
Yeah.
I know from a business point of view, I know what people are trying to do in these play areas.
I get it.
Trying to make a profit and feed them loads of sugar and so they're running around and want to come back.
But there's healthier options out there. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but they don't want them.
Yeah.
She's old enough to know that she doesn't want a bag of carrots anymore. She wants a box of Smarties. And when I'm trying to fob her off with some cucumbers and pieces of apple,
she's like, what is
she's
this?
like, I want Quavers. So it's my biggest stress. It's my biggest source of anxiety. And the other thing is Danny's got 2 kids and they're absolutely amazing little boys. But obviously they're older and they want to do what they want to do and they want to order burgers and chips all the time and all that. And I don't want her to eat that. Yeah. And they want a Coke. Well, they actually, to be fair, they don't really like fizzy drinks, but they'll want like apple juice or apple ties or anything like that. And again, she's not allowed that. It's too much sugar for a 2-year-old and she's just a nightmare all day.
When you think about
so
it,
then if they order it, now she wants it. Now it's a battle. Now it's a battle. Every mealtime's a battleground for me. And I'm like, boys, can you not have it? Because I don't want her to have it. So then, to be fair to them, they're amazing. They go, all right then. Yeah, and they'll have a water.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's tight on them. Do you know, and
because kids watch, don't they?
Yeah.
They look at everyone else and they're like, this person's got this. I want that as well.
Yeah.
Or they'll see someone else
they want a
eating
dessert
something.
and I don't want her to have one. So I always say, yeah, you can have a dessert. Oh, they've got strawberries on the menu, Grace. Oh, we've got a punnet of strawberries. And she would be happy with that, but not when she sees brownies and ice cream on the same table. She's like, oh, hang on a minute, I want that. Then she starts crying because she's not allowed that.
Yeah.
And it becomes a lovely meal that's turned into a war zone because of my hang up. or anxiety around eating shit food.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know, maybe it's because I've got too much knowledge about nutrition and what a 2-year-old should or shouldn't be eating.
But I think it's really important. And I think there was something I read the other day, and it was like the greatest battle that a parent has to go through is learning to negotiate with their child. And it's like you become the world's best negotiator because you're trying to negotiate, like, look how amazing these strawberries are. Because now she's seen and she's got an eye of the brownie, and she's like, in her head, brownie. Why can't I have I want the brownie. And you're like, no, but these strawberries are amazing. Look, you remember when the last time you had them? And you're like, this is exhausting for me. So now that Tuesday feels like it's more of an exhausting day, even though you want to spend time with your daughter, but you're also dreading it because you're like, I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to have to do. Whereas work feels like it's like, you love it.
I breathe a sigh of relief when I get there.
I feel like it's like my break, my downtime. Yeah. So that Tuesday then becomes that, where that's really sad as well because you want to also make memories and have, but these are memories as well that are being made, aren't they? One day you'll be able to tell her, like, you know what you used to do?
Scarred. I could be mentally scarred by them. Yeah.
But it's interesting. You said that's my greatest stress right now. And also through stress, there's always wisdom. There's always learning. There's always growth. So you're also learning that, hang on, what's coming up for me? What are the points of me feeling out of control? How do I manage my stress? What's coming up and what can I do for myself as well to make myself a better mother? Because I think sometimes you're so like, I have to be the mom all the time. You don't then invest time in yourself and have that time for you to like downtime or that release. So then that then means that you're go all the time. You're stressed out. Kids pick up on that. They notice that. So then it's really hard.
Because then I can have a short temper with her.
Yeah.
Shorter than usual.
Your cup's already full. She comes in and says, I don't want strawberries. That's it. Your cup's overflowed now. And you're like, oh my, and then she gets the brunt of that.
Yeah.
But then is that fair on her? And is that more of like, how do you regulate what's going on for you? And you learning to regulate your cup?
I mean, there's some days where I'm just like, not today. Don't do this today. This morning, I was like, she's like, I want a plat. I was like, a plat, right? French plat, brilliant. And I'm already late. I'm thinking, right, I've got to get to Liverpool, but you want a plat, right? Okay. Did her a plat. Perfect plat, wasn't right. Okay, all right, keep it cool. Do it again. She's like, no, it's not big enough. She's just throwing herself on the client. It's not big enough, right? Do it another plat, right? Done another plat for. I want 2 plats. I went, no. Get in the car.
Yeah,
that's it. Because it doesn't matter. I've just given in, and just keep moving the goalposts.
I do believe children need boundaries because they don't know, they don't understand, and I think sometimes we can give them too much choice. It becomes too overwhelming for them, and it's like they don't know what to do because then they're just like, I don't know which one it is. What am I meant to do? So it's like, look. You have, should we do a French plat today or are we going to have 2 ponies? You decide which one you're going to have and then we'll do it. And then when she then has it, it's like, look, I gave you 2 options at the beginning. You said you wanted this and that's what I've done. So now we have to go into the car because look, it's 5 minutes and then we're going to go to school and we're going to do this and we're going to do this. So you're already showing her the direction. But I think if we then keep giving them more options, they get like really distressed and dysregulated and you see that in them.
It's well, she'll test you no matter what you do, believe me. You know what I mean? She tells me she wants a jacket potato as soon as I make it for her. She goes, I want a white potato, not a sweet potato. I'm like, right, okay. But I told you we only had sweet potatoes, right? It's just, honestly, it can be anything. And I think, you're just testing me, whatever. But this morning I went, well, I told you, Mummy's got to go. See you later. So you'll have to go with your dad then. And she's like, no, Mummy. And then she starts running after me because she's like, no, I want you to take me to school. Right, okay. And she hops in the car, moans all in the car about a plat. Non-2 plats. Like,
what does that do for you?
Oh, it's just tune her out.
Because also, does that trigger for you like being a good enough parent? Because I wonder if there's so many other people that will struggle with that, where they feel like they're doing everything, but then again they're scrolling on social media and they see all these parents with their kids, like happy families, and you're like, oh, and then it can just bring a sinking feeling in your own heart because
nobody shares the reality. And I hope people are listening to this podcast going, yeah, well, that's me and blah blah blah, and that's why I'm so upfront and honest with people. And she can be an absolute devil. And that's important because I know all kids are like that. They test your patience.
Yeah.
And I love her to bits. Couldn't love anything anymore. Don't want to spend any time with anybody else. Most of the time she's my 100% number one priority. I want her right next to me all the time.
Yeah.
Even despite of all that.
Yeah. But it also goes back to that same perspective of she is testing your patience, because you know in your head, I need to get to Liverpool, I need to do this, I need to get this, I need to get this on time. She can't see that. So all she can see is I'm looking in the mirror and this plait does not feel right. And you're like, my life right now is just a plait, just get on with it. But from her, it's such a big deal. Like, this plait is not right, and it's I want this and I want this. And I think sometimes we've gone to the other extreme of like conscious parenting, where we give too much choice to kids and it can become too much for them.
I completely agree. And as I can't remember ever having these battles, I never had this choice. I never had choice with anything. It wasn't like, oh, what do you want to wear today? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I never ask her that.
You just have a look from your parent and you're just like, okay.
I tell her what she's wearing. She goes, no, I'm not wearing that. And then she'll go and pick her own outfit, which I go, no, you're not wearing that.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean?
Because you know as well, like the weather, it's not what's the weather like today? Okay, look, you're not going to wear these shorts and t-shirts. It's going to rain today. It's going to be this.
That sequin dress again. To a play area when you want to play around. I'm like, come on, you need to put your leggings on. We're going to go and play. We're going to get dirty. It's a battle. But anyway, enough about me. I want to talk to you about the book.
I think a lot of people will relate to what you're saying with the kids. I think a lot of people really do struggle, and they question themselves. They think that they're bad parents. They scroll on social media. It's all exactly what we've been talking about with the anxiety side, because then you think when you're out as well in a shop and your child's crying and you can see people like, and like looking at you in a certain way, it's not fair, is it? Like, I remember being on a plane and the woman behind me, she had a little one and she was just whispering like, oh, we're going to land now. And the child was crying. The person next to me was like huffing and puffing. And it's like, but she can't control that. Like, we're landing. Where's the empathy and the understanding in that, rather than thinking this is annoying me because your child's crying, sort your child out. It's like, but we're human and we're landing. Obviously, we know what happened to our ears. Like, this child is struggling.
Yeah. I think once you've had kids, then you're a lot more sympathetic to when you see them booting off or in just anything.
You get it.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Or when they're being like badly behaved or whatever. Yeah, it's difficult. So the book, okay, which looks brilliant, and I can't wait to read it. What was the hardest part about writing the book?
The hardest part is like choosing what to put in and what not to put in, because there's so much that you want to put in and you want to add value to and you want people to like engage with. And again, everyone's experience is very different, but it's people relating to, I am high functioning. I have got the anxiety side as well. And people will often say like, how? I get it. I intellectualize everything. Like, what's the how to now moving forward? So like, I like to put in like the theory. I like people to understand like, why are we like this? The psychology behind it, the theories that are that relate to it, the research into it. But I think from my perspective as well is like, people just want to be like, right, okay, tell me what I need to do. And often like even people I work with, they're like, okay, I get all of that. I get why I am the way I am. I know what archetype I am. I just want to know now, like, what do I now need to do to try and come out of it? And I'm like, okay, right, let's just talk about that. And these are the things that you need to do. But also, I can't just give you rules as well. Like, these are the rules to follow. Journal every day, do this and do this. That's not what you also have to do. You have to learn to embody your emotions. And you also have to learn to trust yourself. I can't give you the rules because, again, you're then depending on me to give you, and you're still following that same archetype of like, tell me what to do. It's like learning to trust yourself and sitting in experiences and really feeling into like, okay, if this feels wrong or this feels right, I'm going to go with that. And whatever happens, I know I'll get through it. So you're learning to develop that trust with yourself. People will avoid that because they feel, if I make that choice for myself, what about if it's wrong? If it's wrong, I will get shamed. So, right, if someone else has given me this is what I need to do, the accountability isn't on them personally. It's on, well, actually, this person's told me to do this, so they don't feel the shame in the same intense way. Yeah.
Do you feel like, I don't know, we're oversimplifying things? Like, what do I mean like that? There's a lot of things I see on the online wellness space where everyone's just oversimplifying things. Or actually, is there a lot of value in it? Like breathwork.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never done it more often than I have this year. I have to take myself outside sometimes at the office and then I start going, just deep breathing, if nothing else, to try and get me out of that acute kind of like, oh my God, I need to calm down for a minute. Like, you know what I mean? I probably was one of those people that used to think, oh yeah, breathwork, whatever, it's a bit of mumbo jumbo. But actually, there's some real credible science behind it and regulating your nervous system.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can be as easy as doing a few deep breaths and trying to come out of that like rage, I don't know, that I feel.
But I'm not being biased just because I practice yoga, I practice breathwork. For me, it's also understanding the science behind it. So if we are very high functioning, often we're shallow breathing. So we're not deep breathing. If we're shallow breathing, we're always in that like survival mode, and we're always like waiting for something next to like come back, and we're already preparing ourselves for a threat to happen, and adrenaline's going. So all of this is impacting on the physical body. So when I said that, I noticed that deep breath that you just took.
I mean, am I breathing right? Like, I don't think I do breathe right. I don't think many people do in everyday normal conversation. But then when I actually have to stop, I sometimes
pause
put
and
myself
reflect
in the car, which is always parked outside the office, and I'll go just for 5 minutes. And then I'm supposed to be deep breathing from here.
But it's interesting because this is what happens in yoga as well. Like when people are there, it's not an exercise. It's a way of you coming back to yourself and connecting with your breath. So when we're inhaling, exhaling, what is it really about? It's about pausing and noticing what's happening in your body. But when we're go, we don't really get a chance to do that.
You don't even think about
No,
breathing,
you don't.
do
And
you?
there's a really good book called Breath, and reading
Is it by
that,
James Nestor?
Yeah, really good book. And in there it talks and it speaks about like the science of like even the nostrils and us breathing through each nostril. It takes oxygen into the brain in different ways. So like there's so much more science, and there's so much to the breath that we're not taught, we don't understand until we start breathing in certain ways. We're like, this is it. And I think there is a lot out there. Everyone's a coach and everyone's trying to explain like, I'm a breathwork facilitator, I do this. But I think you have to really try and understand like, what are you connected to? And sometimes if you are someone who's high functioning, you're like, I haven't got time for that. I haven't got time
for breath.
I haven't got time to breathe. Like that's a waste of time. It's not productive. I'm not going to feel good. But I think it depends on the type of breathwork that you do. So that I know that the breathwork that I do is very immersive. It's multidimensional. So you're not going to fall asleep. Like I remember one person came into one of my sessions and they were like, I usually fall asleep in breathwork sessions. They're really nice and relaxing. I was like, this isn't relaxed. This is like a release that you get, and you scream as well. Like you release out the things that you're holding on, because we need to invest in the body just as much as we're investing in the mind, and the body will keep the score. There's another really good book called Body Keeps the Score, and it talks about how we keep holding and building up the emotions and the stress, the impact that it has on your body. So we do need to make that space and that time to look after our mind and bodies. And if we don't, eventually things happen to our bodies, our minds, we develop things. So long term, it's not good. Like short term, it's great to just be like, I need to get things done. I need to be short term, but we need to look long term as well.
How often do you think we should be regulating our breath, or like
I think like the pause is really important. So the pause and just connecting with your breath.
Like
so
a few times a day?
Yeah. Even if you have to set your alarm to remind you.
I know.
But what are you doing?
More tech.
But you're just teaching yourself to become more mindful. That's what you're doing. So I will say to people, like, even when you're going to make a cup of tea, why do you have to take your laptop? Why do you have to take your phone? Why don't you just put your phone and your laptop to one side, and you're going and you're just like connecting your senses to the noise of the kettle, to like watching. I mean, people have now even replaced kettles, haven't they, to the taps?
And well,
like,
I literally did a post on this the other day. I was like, I've gamified the kitchen. So when I put the kettle on, I then try and unload the dishwasher in the time that it would take for the kettle to boil. I was like, does anyone else do this, or are you normal? And everyone's like, I do it. And then I was like, what about people with a cooker tap? Like, how do you gamify the kitchen then? Like, and they're like, no, the trick with your cooker tap is you got to try and not burn your arm.
Yeah.
Because it spits.
Yeah.
That's our game. I was like, oh, right. But yeah, I'm always trying to, again, it's that productivity stack. And if I'm waiting for the kettles to boil, I'm not wasting that time.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to unload the dishwasher.
Is it wasting time? Just be like, you know what? I'm just going to stand here and I'm going to breathe and I'm just going to notice my breath. Sometimes it's like, I'm not going to do that because that's wasting time, and we feel guilty. So we feel bad and we feel like, well, what's going to happen with the dishwasher? When am I going to do that? I've got the little one inside. I've got this happening. I've got this. I've got and it's all of that going off in your head.
Yeah.
So it's easier, you know what? Let me just go to the dishwasher to just stop what's going on in your own mind. And isn't that a battle with self as well? Because we're trying, we've got all these things to do.
I get that hit of dopamine when I manage to do the dishwasher and put everything away perfect before it boils. I go, well done me. It literally.
Listen to that. It's well done me.
There's no one there. It's my internal dopamine hit.
But it makes you feel good because you're like, yes, I've got that. Like, you know, we have like these little things where, let's say if you even go for a run, it's like, right, okay, when I get to that end of the road, then I'm going to be able to stop. Then I'll be able to do this, and I'll get it in like 28 minutes, and I'll do this and I'll do this. And then you just feel like
it says
feel
of
good.
Achievement. Yeah, absolutely.
But achievement can also come from the sense of being rather than human doing. We're not doers all the time. We're also human beings. And what's that sense of like just being? Like I remember once having a client and they were hospitalized for burnout and they were like, oh, finally I get to relax. I was like, this is not relaxing. This is not a holiday.
That's how
like
I feel,
that's
seriously. I'm like, yeah, I could do with that. This is crazy. But like, I always think, well, I might have a bit of surgery done. Right, I wanted like a blepharoplasty or something like that, and I was thinking, yeah, but then I'll have to like schedule time off to recover, and then I can just chill out for a little bit. But I can't do that at the moment because I've got too much on, so therefore I haven't even got time to do that. And even on holiday, I don't ever take any time off.
What do you mean?
I take my laptop, take my phone. It's at the beach with me.
Yeah,
I'm doing content. I'm doing this. I'm answering emails. I do Zooms. It's not. What am I having a break for? What's a work-life balance? I don't know. Work is my life and life is my work. That's it.
But if you enjoy your work,
and then it's
different. How do
I can't just go, oh, it's 5 o'clock, turn it off.
Yeah.
Who does that?
Yeah. But I think if you
that.
really enjoy your work, I feel like it's fine to be like, these aren't the set hours and this isn't what I need to do. But I also think there needs to come a point where it's like, okay, where am I taking time for me? So if it's like going to do yoga, if it's going for a walk, again, without a podcast, without feeling like you need to be doing something, like doing 2-3 things at once.
I couldn't imagine that. I think that would give me anxiety.
I think maybe that's what you have to sit in and be like, right, if I sit in this discomfort, I know you like to challenge your mindset. So this is me challenging you with something here.
I told you, it gives me, and I had a girl called Isabel here as well, who was like, she said, I can't stand getting my nails done. I went, is that because you can't use your hands? She's like, yeah. I went, I feel it. And so now what I do is I take my laptop and I do Zooms as I'm having my nails done because I can't have that dead time just to relax.
But look how you've called it, dead time. It's not dead time. You're there enjoying. Like, let me just sit here. Let me get my nails done. Let me enjoy this space.
Yeah,
this time.
I can't even imagine that.
Yeah. But what's happening is like you feel, like this is panic or this is dysregulation because I can't just sit here and be like, oh, let me just I need to be doing something else because I'm not being productive. But you are being productive. You're getting your nails like nicely done. So that will last you for how many weeks? But it's like in your mind, it's like, this is dead time. So you've already convinced yourself of what this time is. Yeah. It's dead time. What's the point of me doing this? I can't do this. But then why can't we relax into it and just enjoy that time? Just be like, I'm just getting my nails done.
I don't know.
So it's a waste of time.
Because we're only here for one time only. And if you don't push as hard as, I kind of have made a peace with the moment I'm going to stop, which is not that far away. So I think you're in your last, let's say, you're in mile 18 of 26. Don't fucking slow down now. Come on, sprint to the end. Yeah. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I'm prepared to put it all in, if not more. If not take even more dead time, take all that away. Productivity, max.
Yeah.
No breath, no this, no that. Sprint to the end. Do that.
What would happen if you did slow down? What do you think would be the worst thing that would happen?
I don't know. Probably wouldn't get to where I would want to get to. Always wondered, live with regret. What could you have done then? At least if I get it all out and I tried my absolute best and I couldn't give it any more. Yeah. I know I went to bed every single day going, I couldn't do any more today. I genuinely can't do any more today.
Yeah.
Then that's also achievement. And also I'll never look back with any regret that, well, could I, if I'd have gone all in on that, could I have done that? Would I have got there? Would I have done that? Who knows? Blah, blah, blah. Well, I know.
Yeah.
I know the answer to that question because I can't do any more.
Yeah.
Can't physically have done any more.
Yeah.
I was fucking doing something even while the kettle was boiling.
I think everyone's in different parts of their life, isn't it? Like, say if someone has been in that space and they're like, right, go. And then they hit burnout, they hit exhaustion, and then they come out of it and it's like, what was I doing? Like, what was I doing? And I think sometimes we go through life and we have different like activations that activate different parts of us. Like, what was I doing there? But in your mind right now, it's like, I'm going to get to this top of this mountain and I'm not going to rest because I just want to get to that place. But resting is like when you're sleeping or when it's like, no, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to keep climbing. Every time it's light, I'm going to keep climbing. I'm not going to waste any time. I don't want to waste any time, but I need to get to the top of that mountain. But my question to you is like, what's at the top of the mountain that you feel like you want to get to that is so important? And are you really like sacrificing or is it that you're...
The view.
And what's the view?
The end, the view, the this, the that, the just the security maybe, I don't know, but just that'll be the time when I go, you did a good job, well done, go rest.
But will you be able to rest, or will that pattern still continue?
I don't know, I will definitely take a bit of a break after that. And the interesting thing is, I've only felt like this since I ever started this business, because I feel like I fucked around, and I mean genuinely, from the age of 18 to 34. I'm 40 now, so 6 years.
Oh, I love 40.
Thanks very much. So this isn't like, you know what I mean? I feel like you've had a fucking lot of rest, girl. Give it your all, and give it your all now. Keep your head down. Fuck your friends. They'll be there when you get back, when you're ready to go back to, like, really fucking focus on yourself. Be selfish, because you've been the party girl. You've fucking been, unproductive for weeks at a time because you were throwing up, because you're being sick and whatever. You've been through uni. I've done it all. Fucked about all the time. I feel like I've had a lot of rest.
Yeah, I hear that you're in a chapter of it's time for me. Like, I now have been doing so much for everyone else. I've been doing this. And also it's time for me, because I really, truly believe in what I can achieve and what I can do. And I don't want any noise or anyone else to get in my way, because I've allowed that for so long. But this is a chapter of me, and I know what I'm capable of. So I don't want to mess around. I don't want to like get involved in other things. No. And this is why, like, when people come with like drama, it's like, I can't get lost in that. Like, I need to keep focusing on me, because it's time for me now.
Yeah.
So that's why it's really important.
And this is my one chance to make a difference to my own life that could have repercussions for the rest of my life until I die. And I don't want to look back and think, if I'd have, you know what I mean? Oh, if I did what all my friends want me to do, which is go and get wankered every single weekend with them.
Yeah.
Well, where would that get me?
But you've been there, done that.
Exactly.
And it didn't serve you.
Exactly.
And maybe it served you at that point in time, but right now where you're at, it's like, that's not going to serve me.
Exactly. We almost need to wrap up, so we'll do a quick fire round to finish.
Go for it.
Okay. One thing that makes your nervous system instantly settle.
Breathwork.
Yeah, same. I would definitely agree with that. Most overrated anxiety hack.
Breathwork. Because you have to go to the right thing. Like, don't just go on social media or listen and try it once. I think you have to find what works for you. And there's so much out there. Don't get lost in thinking, oh, someone's told me this. It's like therapy. People will be like, I've had therapy before. I'm like, but you haven't done any inner child work. You haven't done this.
My partner, Danny, did one session. He was like, I'm cured. I was like, you're joking. You've done 1 3-hour intensive and she's giving you loads of work to do and you reckon you've completed it. He's like, yeah, I'm there. I was like, right, okay, yeah. One belief you've changed your mind about as a psychologist or as a woman?
To learn to be authentic. As a psychologist, we're often taught, don't bring yourself into sessions, don't bring yourself into the space, and we're also human. And I think people relate and they connect more with you knowing that you're also someone who's imperfect and you're also someone who's going through things. So for me, it's like, I get it, why you're taught all of that, but actually real connections come from authenticity.
What do you wish every woman should know about herself?
That they're deserving and they're lovable and they're worthy as they are.
Perfect. Well, that was brilliant. I don't know if anybody else listening, but I felt that was like very much therapy for myself. But hopefully other people can relate to some of my challenges and that they maybe look at my life and think, oh yeah, she's got her all shit together. Look at how great she is and blah, blah, blah. And I'll tell you right now, there isn't 1 second of my day where I think like that.
Yeah. But I also think people need to, if they are thinking that, that's their space to reflect on why do they think that? Yeah. Why are they looking at other, like when people come to yoga?
I hope they don't. I hope they think, God, she's just as fucked as the rest of us. Because we are. Everybody is.
I think we're imperfect. I wouldn't use the word fucked. I'd use the word imperfect. It's like when people come in for like yoga or breath work, I'm like, don't worry about the person on that mat. Focus on your own mat. Focus on what's going on here and reflect on what is a mat trying to tell you. So if you're so busy, like, oh, they're breathing like this, I'm not doing it right. No, that's not about them. This is about you and you comparing and trying to think I'm doing it wrong. So come back to yourself, come back to what's going on for you and notice what's happening there.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a perfect place to end on. Just focus on what you can do. Don't worry about anybody else. You run your own race.
Yeah.
And your own competition is the one in the mirror.
I love it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming in today, Lalitaa. I loved it. Thank you so much.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you.